I just purchased the tickets. It was Aeroflot. That's why we're here.
You have the grandchildren, especially people who are coming to America today, and people who have been in America for 20 years.
My plan. I knew it's something. I had no idea the commission structure.
I think this is the right motivation that you're giving to people, especially people who are coming to America.
No idea that you have to take the peel off. I had no kiwi.
What's kiwi?
I was born in very.
We could start with the origin story of who is Serg Lobodzinskiy.
Okay.
When did you come to America? Tell us the story of I think you bought the tickets, right?
Yes, I did.
And I want to do the story of you kind of.
I think before we talk about the tickets, let's talk about kiwi.
Kiwi. What's kiwi?
I was born in very poor country in very poor, difficult times. And at that time, the TV was representing things like kiwis and Snicker bars and things that from America.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a dream. If I'm gonna just a taste of kiwi, it will be probably one of the magic moments in my life. So I said, when I'm gonna buy tickets to for my parents and me, moving to US, at that time I think I can afford just to buy one kiwi. What happens in June or end of May, somewhere in Moscow, because only at that time you only can buy tickets and fly only from Moscow to US. I just purchased the tickets. It was Aeroflot ticket office somewhere in Moscow. I don't remember exactly where, but I remember that I bought the tickets there in my socks because it was the most safest place.
So nobody would take your tickets.
So left side tickets, right side a couple dollars that have been left from the purchasing tickets, and we already know that we're traveling to US on June 23rd. So June 23rd was the time that we're flying to US, and I have a couple bucks left, and I'm walking outside of this air tickets office, and somebody's selling tickets on the street, bananas and kiwis and all these exotic fruits for that time, and I'm buying the first kiwi, and I'm just looking at this. I think this is going to be wonderful. Just see heavenly taste, and I was just cannot wait to have the first bite. I had no idea that you have to take the peel off. I had no idea that also kiwi needs to be prepared and ready because, I'm taking the first bite of the kiwi and man, it was not the most admired moment.
You bit it with us
right there at the spot. Right there. I was so ready to get this first bite. I didn't even wash it. Now I would never do this again. So I'm going to America, and in my mind, America started from the bite of the kiwi. It's not that sweet. It's not that beautiful. Well, so I have purchased the tickets to fly in Seattle. At that time, it was direct flight from Moscow to Seattle. People on the plane were smoking. Can you imagine nowadays? You sit on the plane, somebody next to you smoking. No way. No way right now it's going to be some people going to believe it. People drink, people smoke. By the time you arrive to Seattle, I saw people barely walking out of the planes, being close to being completely drunk.
Wow.
So I didn't drink. Of course, I didn't smoke. But my life in America started on June 23rd.
How old were you when you came?
18, 19.
18 years old. And so you were the one that blazed the trail for your family. You're the one that went and bought the tickets, and you're the one that decided that you're going to provide a better life, not just for yourself, but your parents and the people around you.
I was just doing whatever I had to do. It was just not like in my ideas, hey, I'm providing. I was just younger, and we arrived to the US on Friday. Next Wednesday, I already had a full-time job.
You had a full-time job. So what, you went and became a real estate agent right away, or what did you do?
Yes. But before my first job on Monday, my aunt took us to raspberry picking. $1 a box, just you get up in the morning, it was 4:00 or whatever. By the 5:00, you're already somewhere in the field and picking in the raspberries and saying, man, this is how America look like. This is how America smell like. No, it's not for me. But anyway, so I'll end up just making a couple of bucks on Monday. Then my first job in America was at a store called Liquidator Outlet in Kent, Washington. And I was getting paid $4.95 an hour.
And what year was this?
1994, 1995.
So you're making $4 and some change working at a liquidator outlet in Kent.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you thinking of America? Is this it for you? Are you disappointed, or do you feel like there's more opportunity for you?
Well, I think if you understand what the timing was, I came from the country that just experienced the war. And whatever right now Ukrainians experienced in Ukraine, I experienced in 1991, 1992. Russians came to save us from our own. They came to our country and war started. So I have lived through the poverty, on no opportunities. I lived through the unsafety, and I was somehow able to survive and make a couple bucks. And helped my parents to move to US. And when I came to US, I very sincerely say that America greeted me with a smile. And until today, I think America is the best place in the world. I think it's the best place for me and my family. It's the best place for hard workers, people who honestly wanted to receive and deserve honest wages. I think America is the best place and a great place. And I cannot be thankful enough to God and to life, to my parents, to my grandparents, who gave us opportunity to come to us.
Wow, Serg, I think you have a really unique and inspiring story. And I think one word that would describe you is you're a trailblazer. You're somebody who goes.
Pioneer.
You're a pioneer. You don't go after somebody else's path. You're not going to go and copy somebody else and try to figure out what they're doing and you're going to do it. You go and make your own path.
Vadim, thank you for this compliment. I do believe that I don't think that people do it enough of being pioneers. I think right now a lot of people came to US, and what they do, they copy what has been done before them by their relatives, friends. That's why thousands of talents being wasted by becoming truck drivers. Thousands and thousands of talents, charisma wasted in just being only in construction field. I mean, it's nothing wrong to be a constructor. It's nothing wrong to be a truck driver. I love truck drivers, I love people who are doing construction. We need them. This is a very important jobs. But at the same time, I don't believe that everybody who came from Ukraine, from Moldova, from other countries has to go through the path of their uncles and friends and so on. So I did do whatever I thought for me was the best thing. I proud myself to not being practicing copy and paste. I do believe that it's a room for copy and paste, but at the same time, I think majority of my time I was looking for my own path, for my style, for my understanding of things, maybe for my easier or hard ways, but it's mine. I do believe that if I will ask somebody, ask me, Serg, what makes you, me? I would say I'm very original and I'm very self-made. I'm sorry, but I didn't have dad who inspired me to do more. I didn't have older brother who inspired me to do more. I didn't have anybody who just told me, Serg, hey, you can make this happen and do whatever you do. I just believe that there's some sort of internal energy I was given by situation, by scenarios that I had to experience, made me who I am today. I'm glad that America gave me many opportunities, and I'm sincerely thankful to anybody who's going to listen to me right now, who were potentially part of our community and is part of the community. I think we don't do enough being thankful to America. Not being, and what I mean, America, thankful. Of course, we can say this God. Of course, we can say this is life. But at the same time, getting up and just saying, I'm glad that I'm here. I hear too many things, too many negative things being said by anybody about America. Of course, it's not perfect country. Of course, people who runs the country not perfect. But idea of America, it's wonderful. I think it's the democracy. It's the best solution for many problems. I think it's the best way to give people a chance to succeed. It's what America it's all about, and that's why America is America. When we look in America in smaller section of life, in America, it's not perfect here, not perfect here, not perfect here. But if you look on the bigger overview, look at what America has to offer compared to smaller, better countries. A lot of people are happier. Finland and maybe some people are happier in Finland because they don't do much. Here we work.
And we truly live in the land of opportunity. The stories are endless of people in our lives, people who came here 10, 15, even 5 years ago. And today they're living a better life than they ever would. And not only do they have the opportunity for themselves, but for their children, for their grandchildren. And Serge, you've been doing it for 30 years. You've become extremely successful in your career and careers. You have a beautiful family, amazing children, most of whom I'm friends with.
Wonderful. That's why we're here.
You have grandchildren, 2 grandchildren.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're a grandpa.
Didus.
You don't look like a grandpa, but it's okay. It's a good compliment to you.
Thank you. I do my best to stay young, Didus.
So you've been able to keep it together for the last 30 years in America. You had a career, you had a business, you were very involved in ministry and church, and you were, I would say, stretching yourself to a limit that I haven't met a lot of people in doing it well. And so you started your career in real estate 20 years ago. Tell me why you even became a real estate agent, what drove you to do that, and what were you doing during the time when you became an agent?
I think before I answer why, I would say what made me to do. Okay. So I think what separates me at today's environment and what separated me at that time, I very sincerely say that I had no idea I will be able to make money. I can sincerely say that the making money was not part of my plan. I knew it's something. I had no idea the commission structure. I had no idea how real estate agents were getting paid. I honestly say that I gained knowledge and experience not because I was planning to gain paychecks. I had example of, I can say right now that example of the one real estate agent who was before me, and he was arrogant. He was prideful. He was the person who sold me home, and I do not respect how he did it, at that time. He also happened to be my neighbor. So seeing him and knowing how he does things, it just made me a little uncomfortable. And then I just realized at that time I was the part of the youth ministry in one of the churches, and I saw how many people coming to US. People struggle with the language barriers and so on. And at that time, I was already at Michelin Aircraft Tire Corporation. I was in charge of the operation that supplied tires to all commercial Boeing programs and some military programs. So I already had my successes. And I spoke good enough English for that time to communicate and understand the contracts. I was approved by Boeing as the QA manager. I was approved by FAA, and I was approved by US Force as the production manager. So I had some experiences in like a big corporation and Army and Air Force. And I just realized that I can be helpful to my земляки, people who came from to America, and one day, at that time, I already owned the home. At that time, I already been owner probably for 7 years, 8 years. So I bought my first home in 1998.
1998, wow.
Bought my first home. Before Joanna, my older daughter, she was born like a month before. We already have a room situated, room for her in our own home. I had nobody who told me. I didn't have a Vadim who was just promoting, hey, ownership is great. I didn't have Serge. But I just thought this is a good idea. I just felt that this is a smart idea. So we bought a home. Joanna was born, and she had her pink room. And from that moment on, I just thought, all home ownership makes it miracles. When you own piece of property, when you own land, when you own your roof, your room, I think you become happier and more stable and so on. So in 2004, I did my first walk into the real estate industry. I walked to the Washington Square Realty office. At that time, my property was on that 314th Southwest in Federal Way, and on the First Avenue and 320th, it was the Washington Square Realty, and right there in the corner, I walked the office, And somebody met me at an office. What do you want? What is it? I want to become a real estate agent. She said, oh, I thought you were going to be my client. I said, no, I want to help people to buy home. And at that time, I had in my pocket $100. It was 520s. And Janet Neidegger took those 520s for me, put it on the copy machine, made a copy, made a receipt. Said, Serg, this is your receipt for your training that you're going to be starting next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's how all this happened.
And when did you sell your first home?
November.
So
it took me about 3 months getting into the training. Then first time I failed my test.
Wow.
I did not pass the test immediately,
Mm-hmm.
but I already had clients. I already had people who wants to see homes. So my broker at that time drove me with clients, but I didn't have a license. At that time, I was studying a lot, and 2 weeks after, during the night with my book, I was asleep, and I was asked the question during the night from that list of the questions, and I was told that even asleep, I gave the right answer. And then a couple of days after I passed the test, and since then, I started to be involved in real estate. And my first sale happened to be in November. Year after, I think I already was top producer for the office. At that time, it was 40 plus agents.
Mm-hmm.
It was a small agency, but it was large enough to do, just to do good volume.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't forget, back then, real estate the business was totally different than now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you didn't have Redfin, you didn't have Zillow, you didn't have the internet.
We had the first version of internet because we could have downloaded some parts of reports, but what we did not have at that time, there was e-signs. No, what the company that used to work for?
DocuSign.
Everything has to be initialed or signed in paper. Then you initial, you date it, and then you fax.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, either you deliver the offers in person or you fax everything. And then the date and stamp of the fax machine receiving or sending the documents, you always have to keep the timestamp in order to prove that the offer was submitted at that time. And no GPSs, no mappings. So you had to drive with, like I used to drive with my navigation, direction. You've written, you
MapQuest. You write it.
You write the direction. Then you have your Thomas Brothers book, with the maps of each street with these squares. You have to find the street. You have to find all this, and you drive. And also back then, it was really hard for people to find places. So that's why we used to have a large cars. In the back, I would have people with 5 kids screaming and yelling, and they're looking at the paper, and I'm here on the phone, calling agents, telling, sorry, we're late for 30 minutes. Please extend our showing time. And you're looking at the map, and you're driving this Volvo. I remember I bought the largest possible 4-door car was Volvo S80 because it was the safest, the biggest, and I always drove people to showings.
So when you became a real estate agent, the industry was completely different. I would say that it was much more challenging to access information than it is today. So how did people even see listings?
No, we had Northwest MLS, but so right when I started to do real estate, they implemented the Northwest MLS online.
Oh, okay.
But before that, on a daily basis, Northwest MLS would ship boxes of a listing. So it's like a book, like a printed book, dates, price, how many days, and they would ship daily.
Wow.
So this is and then the print, so this is a painting, this is contingent, this is planning, this is sold in the last 30 days. So it's books being distributed among the offices. Mm-hmm. And you will come to the office and you just flip the page and say, hey, wanted to show you this, then you copy those reports and thank you with you going to see clients, show them we have 5-6 homes on the market, and we can it was no picture. So it's typically was just one black and white picture of the home. That's it.
So you didn't even know what you're going to show up.
You just knew the address, square footage, lot size, age of the home, and the price, of course. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow, what a different time. What a much more challenging time for consumers and even for real estate agents to find the right home for people.
Yeah, so I think, very honestly say that people who come in right now for the coming into so many more agents right now.
Of course, yeah.
But I think if it would be the same time as it was then, I think it would be so much less because it was much harder. Much harder, and people was coming in for the right reasons. I'm sorry, some of the agents right now should not be in real estate. I will say that 80% of the people right now who is doing 1 or 2 transactions a year, they're just wasting their time and they're doing bad customer service for the people who is buying the homes. Hey, if you're my brother, you're my sister, my cousin, it does not make you good in what you do. If right now somebody gonna tell me, hey, your cousin just passed the license to become a dentist, would I will go and do the teeth with him? No, I would not do that. If somebody would just say, what he does, keep pulling out 1 or 2 teeth a year, would I go to do service or receiving the treatment from him? I would not do it. And then my question to some of the people who's listening right now: why are you wasting time and calling yourself realtor or real estate broker when you should not be doing this? And you think this is easy money? Think again, this is not easy money. If you think that this was just, those agents, and maybe this is not a question on your list, and maybe never, but I will say, don't do disadvantages to people that especially you like, respect. And if you're calling them, hey, you should do business with me, not with Serg or Vadim or somebody else, I think it's not being a good steward of what we're supposed to do. If you don't have experience, and you will probably never have experience because you're doing 1 or 2 transactions a year, just move on. Do something better. You can make so much more money. And I see these examples when I speak with some agents, and they're just like, man, I know one person who, when I passed my test, he was doing 5 or 6 times. It took him almost 20 years to finally pass the test.
Wow.
And most likely because of the English barrier. If you don't speak English, I don't want to, say that it's not free. I'm just saying that you're wasting your time. You're wasting 20. You can be a best cook. You can be the best pilot. You can be the best everything else. Why did you waste so much time? Because you think this is easy buck, easy money right here? It's not easy.
Yeah, I think there's so many people that think real estate is this easy thing. All Serg and Vadim does is we show up at 12 o'clock, we pick up the phone, maybe we make 1 phone call, and then we go open a door, and then we just write an offer, and then magically we collect a big commission check, and it's that easy. But if people would see the everyday and the challenges and the level of skill and outside of the box thinking that you need to have to take a transaction from opening a door to closing. There have been transactions, and I've sat in a room with you where other agents would have not closed that deal. I even had a client who switched their real estate agent because they felt like they weren't getting the right service. And they told me on closing day, they said, Vadim, if we weren't working with you, we wouldn't be buying a home.
Yeah.
Because we know the other agent wouldn't have closed it. And so I think you're 100% right that people who are part-time agents, they are doing a disservice to their family and friends because that's who they're targeting. They're targeting their family and friends, and they think, it's going to be an easy buck to make some money off of Dядя Sasha because, he's going to have to buy a house eventually, but really they're not providing the best service.
But, it's a room for everyone in this world. Again, for me, I just don't want to just sound, hey, I'm the best. But at the same time, what I wanted to say, if I get in when it was so much more difficult, if I get in not for the easy money, I think, and I survived through the 2006, 2008, 2011, COVID and everything else, it just tells you something. It just tells you that, first of all, knowledge, experience, but at the same time, talent. I do believe people created not equally. We equal, but at the same time, our talents not equal. Our charisma in some places not being involved, or I think just what makes talented people talented because they do what they feel this is the best. What makes me happy. If somebody will tell me today, Serg, commission is going to be no longer there. What I would be sad. Because I'm not going to be able to see my clients those smiles that they gave me when they become homeowners. When I meet with the people who say it's impossible, it's so hard and just unbelievably believably difficult, and then 30 days, 40 days after I giving them the keys,
Mhm.
and I see the smile,
Mhm.
that's I would miss that so much, and I will be unhappy.
Mhm.
And throughout the years, I saw smiles.
Mhm.
I saw people being blessed, and I think amount of equity was generated by my services to my clients. Way supersede my income. Way supersede. If I sell 30, 40 homes a year, and from 2019 until now, the equity grew by 51%, and just do a simple math. How much more people made because of my service to them? When I was able to motivate them, when I was was able to inspire them, sharing the knowledge when I do my presentations, and I see people who came in May to hear the first time about buying real estate, and in June we're already closing, and by July I already calling him, hey, it's $20,000 equity in your home. It's just a wonderful feeling, and their kids happier. Their kids are waking up in their own home.
Mhm.
And right now, my message to people who coming in the US: become a homeowner as soon as possible.
Mhm.
It's going to make you happier, successful, and you, on the long run, you will gain more by doing sooner than later.
Mhm. Yeah, you're going to gain that equity, and you're going to have an opportunity that nobody else is going to have. I just got off the phone with a client of mine who came to the US 4 years ago. At his second year, his second taxes, he called me and he said, Vadim, I want to buy a house. And at that time, I didn't know him. Took him, the market was crazy. It was 2021, 2022. There was a line of people outside to look at this new construction home. And here's how the story goes. We walk into the house, we look at it for 5 minutes. We walk out and we're standing there with a sales consultant, and we were one of the first. And we see this long line, and I say to them, guys, do you buy the house or not? They buy the house, they secure a low payment. And he called me a few days ago and said, Vadim, I'm ready to go purchase another property, a multifamily, because things have been going well in business. And he said, I called other people, and people would almost laugh at me thinking, oh, you want to buy a house? You came to America 2 years ago? What do you think? What are you thinking? You think you're cooler? You think you're better? But I think this is the right motivation that you're giving to people, especially people who are coming to America today. And people who have been in America for 20 years, the sooner you purchase a home, that's the stability you give. Yeah. So I love that motivation. I love that motivation that you're giving. So Serg, 20 plus years of experience in the real estate industry. Between me and you, we have almost 25 years combined.
Okay. 25, okay. Okay. Maybe you better. Okay, sounds good.
Between me and you, over 25 years of real estate experience. You take the majority of it.
Okay.
But I've been grateful to learn from you, and to have my career go further because of your help. And I'm grateful for that. And so you did a lot. How did you manage it all? How were you able to do it? Because some people, they might look at you and think this guy was crazy. He was working 2 jobs, involved. How were you able to do it?
Vadim, with honesty, I think we don't know how much we can do even more. When I met Mark the first time, our Mark, he was telling me about the calendar. Serg, do you run the calendar? I said, no, I don't run the calendar. And I don't run calendar until now, because I train my brain to remember. And I think just because we train ourselves, because we're not giving, ourselves shortcuts, at least to me, I think I'm able to do more with less amount of time that what I had. Yes, I was the business development manager for major corporation. I was responsible over the truck tire sales in 7 states. When I was leaving the company in 2019, I had 83 major dealers that I was responsible for the training, sales. I was responsible for the launching new product. And what I'm talking about, not like something similar, simple as pen. It was the major components of the trucking companies that all this bigger on bigger scale for the nation. And I was able to remember everything, and I was able to do everything on a timely scheduled. And until now, I just train myself. I don't know. Normally, I don't say no to myself. I normally don't say I can't.
Mm-hmm.
If I if I will say I can't,
Mhm.
it means that I lose. I lose to myself, and I don't want to lose to myself. Yes, I was involved in the ministry. I was involved with the church. I was involved with not only the church activities. I also had my nonprofit where we're helping orphans and children with disability. We helped people in Ukraine and Moldova for years and years. We were traveling and helping people. In addition to what I was doing with real estate and Michelin and home and family, I think we just giving ourselves excuses. In some parts we're becoming lazy. Can you imagine what was happening 100 years ago? Our grandparents, they waking up and they had to provide, they had to harvest, they had to build, they had to do all this. They saying we can't, or like now, you know what? They're gonna slip in. Like right now, why would I go and work for $5 an hour when I can potentially somebody else working for 10? I would just wait for that $10. I'm not gonna work for 5. My job, my understanding was I take whatever life is giving to me and I do my best. It was time when I was making $4.95 an hour. It was time when I was, the business development manager. It was a time when I am real estate broker and director of home direction. It's a time when I potentially may say, you know what, I can do even more. And having people like you next to me help me to continue to do what I do. In a sense, is if you have more responsibilities and more need to be done by me because somebody else is relying on me, my kids, my grandkids, my parents. I think I was able to do what I was able to do, and sometimes it was hard. Yes, that's why in some cases I gained the weight because I didn't have enough time to sleep. I didn't have enough time to eat properly. I didn't have enough time to work out. And those times probably showed on my presence, like my body, because I probably, took away from me, but at the same time, I gained somewhere else. And my body forgiving me for not being always take care of me and not always put my body in, in a favorite position. But in the same time, I have a story to tell. I have example what I have done in my life. I can tell you the story what I was once sitting under the palms in Tanzania, writing the offer, being on a missionary trip, selling the home from Tanzania, northeast Tacoma, earning some living and some commissions for the sale, and I left to the penny everything in Africa. I made my mark there in Tanzania. I made difference by my activities. I could have just said, you know what, I'm in Africa, forget about it. I'm not going to write offer. I'm not going to pay $1 per minute for internet. And I could have said like anybody else would say it. I didn't say that. I said, I will make this happen. I sold the home being in Africa. And said, God, life, put me there in Africa. And my clients trusted me so much that they knew that I'm Africa going to do better job than Mr. Schmuck or whoever, next door then can do. And they trusted me and I did it. And that's I think that's what separates me. And that's, I can humbly say that I am good because I never said to myself, I can't.
You don't let the pressure break you. The pressure.
I think it's a good pressure. It's healthy. I think it's a good pressure and a good stress. It's healthy when you're able to manage yourself under the stress. And I think it's one of the most important skill. If you know how to deal with stress at the time frames that you have to complete, and at the same time continue to keep your cool, smile on the face, being kind, I think anything can be possible.
Yeah, I think when people are under pressure, they have two choices. They can give into that pressure or they can push through it. And once they push through that pressure, it makes the other pressure that they face later much easier to go through. So many examples, so many stories that I could share where in life you probably have. We're in Africa, whatever. It's easier. We're just going to give up. We're not going to do this. We're going to let somebody else do this deal. But no, you took that pressure and it made it easier next time when you were in Cancun or when you were on an airplane, when you were with your kids and it was time to make something happen. You made it happen because you've already been through that pressure.
Exactly.
So, Serg, you didn't let the pressure define you. And you've been, like I said in the beginning, a trailblazer, and you've been doing something very unique. You're one of the only people in the whole nation. We're not just talking about Washington State. who cares about USDA loans, and you're the director of home direction. You're the one that started it many, many years ago. And the question that I have for you is, how did you even find out about USDA loans? What drove you to do it? Because there's many people, and I've shared this story before, real estate brokers who bought homes with this loan program, and they don't care about it, but you do.
Vadim, I can sincerely say that I think it's some things happens for the reason. I do believe being in the right person at the right time, at the right place, happened because somebody has to. Somebody has to take responsibility. Somebody has to take hard work and to make it happen. How I learned about this program, it was just by somebody who called me and said, Serg, we're buying a home with this program and we don't want to buy a home because the home had rats in the home, and they're just realizing 2 days prior closing that the rats, it's created some issues. And she said, I don't want to buy this home because I don't feel safe. I have kids and so on. And I said, okay, I will help you. I'm not promising that you're going to get your earnest money back. But what I do promise, if you work with me from my next transaction, from my commissions, I will reimburse you for the earnest money that you're going to lose to this because it's too late. It was literally 2 days prior closing. Nothing can be done about it. Mm-hmm. And then by speaking with them, I just realized the benefit of the program. And, I think I have a good smell. And I have a good smell. That's why I have a collection of colognes and perfumes and so on. But I think I smelled it something unique. And I remember I drove to Mount Vernon office. And at that time, the person from USDA, she was not very friendly. She was not friendly. She didn't want to tell me anything at that time. She told me, you only can close an Old Republic title. You only can... whatever the things that what she was telling me was just like very it was not enough information. Mm-hmm. And I thought I need to learn more. And pieces by pieces, I learned and put it together, the benefit of this program. And I realized what it can do for my people. Mm-hmm. To me, the idea was what this program can do for people who cannot afford to buy home, because not having down payment, when you have 11 children, when you have 5 children, no matter how many children we have, but if you're making like a little money, buying home in Washington State, it's extremely difficult. And I thought this is going to be a good tool. This is going to be a good bridge to bring people into the home ownership with this program. And I started to take the steps in learning, adapting, promoting, being involved, and then just came to the point and we expanded to other states. And with Mark's, my son-in-law Mark Zug came on board. He brought ideas of how to implement some technology into it, and then it was just the right timing. We were just ready to grow, and then COVID happened, and whatever was happening, we at that time expanded more. People started to call me from all over the United States, and we went to other states and we did what we did. And I'm sure right now it's hundreds of families saying, Serg, because of you and your team, because of Home Direction, because of whatever you guys did, now we're home owners. And to me, it's a blessing. It's a much more important to know that I was the bridge. I was the one that helped people to become a homeowner when they thought it's impossible. Mm-hmm. And I like the idea of that's impossible. It's possible when you put your effort into it. Mm-hmm. And, now you have helped people to become a homeowners with this program. Some other agents, because of our initiatives, somebody have copied us. Mm-hmm. I'm sure somebody, wanted to do as good as we are. And I'm sure, and it's okay. It's a healthy competition. But to me, if because of our activities and our steps, people somewhere in Kentucky, in Texas, and other states will become a homeowner, even though it's not directly involved me. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that because I made a difference. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that because I know how good it can be for the kids who's going to be growing and being raised in their own homes. So that's what happened. The science and story continue to be written, and we're continuing going to do what we're going to do. This year, it's the most difficult year with USDA. 100% the most difficult that never happened. Did it kill us? Did it just stop us? No. It's not the USDA. It's not only one program.
Mhm.
It's the one of the program that can help. Have I stopped selling homes after USDA ran out of the money? No, I sold more. So the point is it's one of the tools that we can present to people. It's one of the activities that we can do for our clients. This is one of the things that we can implement. And I don't want to be known only USDA agent. I don't want to be known that we only work with the low income family, even though it's a good enough title. But at the same time, I wanted to make it whatever it's possible to anybody who asks for my help. My point is, you walk in, you talk to me, we will find ways.
Yeah. And I think that's what sets you apart. And I think this goes back to the people who do 1 or 2 real estate transactions a year. Those agents who think this is easy money. When somebody comes to them, they don't even know the solutions to offer them because they haven't done 40 transactions in a year. When somebody sits down with them and they're making $70,000, they're thinking it's impossible. Who's this guy? He's not going to be able to buy a home. He has $26 in his bank account. But when Serg Lobodzinskiy sits down with them, he says, I'm going to make you a homeowner. And not only that, in 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to have $100,000, $200,000 of equity.
Exactly.
So I respect that about you. And I love that about you, that you're a man that provides solutions. And you don't only do USDA loans, correct? So you help people buy homes, sell homes. I mean, I think the most expensive home that you helped sell was in the millions.
A vacant lot, $2.5 million.
Vacant lot, $2.5 million. Wow. So no matter who they are.
And at the same time, but then just to add to the point, as of now, and I have like 4 transactions to be closed right now. Somebody who came to US 2 years ago, buying home in Illinois, minimum income, minimum down payment, we found them a home. Yeah, it's an older, smaller home. And at the same time, somebody who came to US 10 years ago, buying 1 million plus with me right now. Doesn't matter if you're a first-time buyer and you're buying a smaller home where, like my commission or my income is very minimum. And I'm still giving them, gift, and I'm still giving them some funds just to help them. Or you're buying very expensive home. You're my people. They're my people. And it doesn't matter if buying expensive, cheap. It doesn't matter if you Bellevue or Algona, it's whatever, Tacoma. I don't judge location. What I do judge, if you wanted to make this happen, I will be able to help you. If you don't want to, if you think, that's okay. Somebody else will take your spot, and somebody else 2 years from now will going to have $100,000 equity, and you're going to be sitting outside out, just why did I do it?
Yeah.
So, with this being said, I think it's great opportunity. I think it's I don't want to also say that all the new agents not good. Some good agents that you are good new, but you're good. Some other agents, they're new, but they're good. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say, don't think this is an easy field. And we're probably living in changes, timing where everything changes. And I don't know how much longer the current structure will exist. But I do want to say that as long as I'm able, I will do my best. Well, as long as I'm able, I will continue to do my best in any scenarios that what market will represent.
And I think, Serg, now you're at this point in your real estate career and personal development where you're giving a lot. And right now, where Home Direction is they're looking to partner with a lot of real estate agents who are in different states, agents that you're willing to inspire, just like you inspired me to become a better real estate agent, and encourage them to take it further in their career, become true professionals. What advice do you have to new real estate agents, and what advice do you have to somebody who wants to succeed just like you?
I think it's, if you allowed me to answer this question a little bit differently, my advice would be not only to the new agents, old agents, buyers, listeners to your podcast, videographer who sits right here, treat others the same way you want to be treated. If you put this goal in mind, treat your clients the same way you want to be treated. Don't sell them crap. Don't abuse the system. Do not do what you don't want it to happen to you. I don't care who you are, agents, you're stay-at-home mom, you're pastor in the church, or you're a police officer, or you're president. Don't do bad things to others if you don't want this to happen to you. If in my understanding, this is one of the reasons the good things happen to me. I'm not perfect. We can find many aspects of my life that it's not done perfectly in my life. But at least I strive to do my best when realizing that something I have done not perfect in the past, and I'm not proud about. But at the same time, today, and my commitment to any of my clients, any of my other brokers, I would not do what I don't want to you, what I don't want to happen to me. And this is I think it's a solution to any aspects of happy life. Any aspects of the happy life, successful businesses, and so on. If we apply this rule and rule only in all scenarios in our life, I think life would be beautiful. I think life would be beautiful if everybody does that. And of course, we find these answers and this motivation from Luke 6:31. Correct? Maybe you, Pastor Vadim, you know better than me, but I think this is my advice to anybody who's listening to this video.
Well, Serg, thank you so much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure to work alongside you for the last almost 3 years now.
So what happened to 25?
In our combined 25 years of real estate experience. I think there's Mark in there. We're going to mix in Mark. We're going to mix in somebody else. If we mix in Mark, we have like 30 years of real estate.
Leo.
And Leo.
Hey,
Melanie,
man. Alona.
Annie else. We have all 50 years of real estate experience between us. Serg, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I love it. And let's have another successful year.
Exactly. We will do. Thank you.